All right, Boomer Live, MMA Complete Podcast, episode 59. By myself today. I think I got a couple of the boys coming through. The normal crew. Dylan might come through. Austin will probably be here, and we might have another guest or two showing up. But I want to thank everybody for coming in. Today's going to be a little bit different of a podcast for the simple reason that we don't have any fights this week. So, of course, we're going to recap the fights from last week, mostly Cyril Gane beating Derek Lewis by third-round TKO to get the interim heavyweight championship. We're going to be talking about a couple other stuff, some stuff that's coming up. We have a bunch of pay-per-views coming up in the next 3 months that are just off the charts. But for right now, I don't even know how I want to start this podcast, to be honest with you. I'm going to be going a little bit longer today, an hour and a half. We usually just go an hour. Make sure you check out our Twitter at complete_MMA, where we've been doing a lot of cool stuff. We've been putting out polls. We've been getting a lot of good feedback, questions, and stuff that pertains to the pay-per-views and everything like that. So go check out at complete_MMA for the best Twitter MMA, the best MMA Twitter out there. Go check out our YouTube page, MMA Complete Podcast. Go show love to fansonlysports.com. Go show love to nakedsports.com. We've been putting out a lot of good articles on Naked Sports, or I have been. And for the most part, we're just going to have fun with it today. So I'm going to play a quick commercial, quick ad, and we will get right to the fun. You're watching MMA Complete Podcast, episode 59. Thank you, everybody. All right, and we're back. Boomer Live. So I guess since I have the floor for anybody who watches this, today's podcast is going to be a little bit different. I've had a pretty damn shitty 2 weeks. Just been working 80 hours a week, 90 hours this week, and we still got 2 days to go. It is August 12th, Thursday, when I'm recording this, when it's going out live right now. 8 o'clock, 7:30. And we are halfway through August almost. Summer's almost over. I felt like I haven't had a summer at all. Just been working, doing my thing. Been dealing with a lot of stuff lately. A lot of family stuff, a lot of work stuff that just, it's the stuff that's most important to you, so you have to prioritize it, and I have no problem with that, but it's just the timing of things is impeccable. Just when I have some time to do some stuff for me, for the podcast, for everything else comes up, right? So I have the podcast, I got my first job, I have my second job, I have family, and then I have this other thing going on. And then it's crazy how just one of those things going wrong ruins your entire day, So like last weekend, we couldn't really do the podcast because of technical malfunctions. The camera wasn't working. We got to watch the fights. I got to hang out with the crew and watch the fights, and that's all that really matters. We had a great time, had some drinks, but we didn't get to do the podcast, and that ruined a couple of days for me. And then a couple other things come up, and that ruins a couple of days. And then out of nowhere, it's 2 weeks later, and I feel like I got nothing to show for it. And in the middle of summer, in the middle of a big summer that I think this is for me, it's significance. It's just hard, I'm just keeping it real. That's what I try to do. I know that, the following for this podcast has been it's been getting a lot better, and I'm so thankful for it, but it's still a very minor podcast. It's just something we do. Me, Austin, Mark, Dylan, Colby, everybody that helps me out. It's all our podcasts. It's just something we do for fun. It's just something that we enjoy doing, and maybe something happens someday, maybe it doesn't, but either way, we're doing something. And so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do something. I'm going to work my butt off, and I'm going to keep going because What else is there to do? I've been having a real crummy 2 weeks, and for the fact that I'm by myself and none of the boys have came through, I haven't really gotten to talk to them anywhere. It's just this PSA that I've been meaning to get out there it's totally not the vibe of the show, but hey, if you watch the show for UFC, for MMA news, stick around because that's all we're going to be talking about for the next hour. If you watch the show, anybody for personalities that are on the show, if you watch the show for, the personality I bring to the table at Naked Sports and all that stuff, this is a PSA. Just keeping it real, man. Just keeping it real. This is life. It's not all about MMA, but for the next hour, I promise it will be, because that's why you're actually here for. So, last week was actually a pretty damn good pay-per-view. There was a lot of good fights. I only got to catch the main card. Unfortunately, I was working a double last Saturday. So I really only got to check out what was the first fight I got to check out? I got to see Tecia Torres beat Angela Hill. It was kind of a slow fight. Tecia Torres definitely mauled her as far as just having way more significant strikes. 50 more significant strikes and almost 70 more total strikes. Angela had one extra takedown in their 3 rounds, and Angela Hill had more control time. But overall, it was mostly a stand-up fight, and Tecia Torres took it to Angela Hill. So big ups to Tecia Torres moving up in the strawweight division. Let's see where she is now. Tecia Torres now moves up to 9 in the strawweight division. Angela Hill moving down 2 spots to 14. So Angela Hill is going to need to do something to stay relevant in that division. Tecia Torres on her way up. Who knows? May be able to fight someone a little bit higher up. You got Claudia Gadelha right above her at 8. Mackenzie Dern at 4. Yan Xiaonan also at 4, tied with Mackenzie Dern. I don't know if I've ever seen that before. Strawweight division, there's 2 number 4s. We'll just call Mackenzie Dern 5 and Yan Xiaonan 4. That's a good division, man. The women's strawweight division it's been just slowly putting out killers. You got Rose, obviously, the undisputed champ, one of the greatest females to ever do it in the UFC. You got Joanna Jędrzejczyk, who is maybe one of the most, if not the most anticipated returns in the UFC right now. Joanna is one of the best strikers in the UFC, bar none. I don't got to add anything else to that statement. She went 5 rounds with Weili Zhang. She went 4 rounds with Rose. I believe she lost those. And then she's had so many other fights, man. Joanna hasn't fought since March of 2019, right before COVID came in. And it's almost going to be 2 years before we see her again because I haven't heard anything announced. It's kind of crazy. I mean, I can't, you don't want to say anything about it because it's her right if she wants to stay out of fighting in general. And once you add COVID restrictions and all the training implications that comes with, I totally understand it, but we're definitely going to be looking forward to seeing Joanna coming back and trying to make her mark on the division, especially with one of her biggest rivals, Rose Namajunas, now the undisputed champ. And then you got Yan Xiaonan, who I'm a big fan of, and the girl she just lost to, Carla Esparza, a great wrestler, a really great wrestler. And not for nothing, but Rose can wrestle, Joanna can wrestle, but Carla might be the best wrestler in that division. And we're going to see eventually, I'm sure, if that really can separate her. I think it could actually do a lot of damage. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Carla Esparza fighting for the women's strawweight belt in 2022. Wouldn't be surprised at all. 2021 is a stretch. I don't know what Rose wants to do. I think Weili Zhang deserves the first rematch. But I look forward to Carla Esparza. And I also think that Yan Xiaonan will be back in 2022. I think she'll be able to get 2 more wins. I think that she had a bad loss against Esparza. I think she goes back and trains on what her weaknesses are, which is on the ground, jiu-jitsu, basically. And I think that she's able to come back. I don't know where Joanna fits into that. Mackenzie Dern's right up there. Claudia Gadelha, Tecia Torres, Michelle Watterson. They're all up there. So the whole division is really stacked. Let's see what we can do about getting these girls to be more active. I hate to say it because of what the PSA I just had about COVID and all that, but the women's strawweight division is definitely interesting. And before, I'm actually going to talk about the fights, UFC 265 real quick. But there will be news about Amanda Nunes. A lot of speculation, some Twitter beef that was going around about Amanda Nunes. How can people talk shit to Amanda Nunes, you might ask? I would ask the same question. I don't think it's smart. I don't think that it makes any sense. I think that's like Colby Covington talking shit to Kamaru Usman. Okay, maybe it gets people more invested, but at the end of the day, what's it going to get you? Most likely nothing. But we will be talking about that towards the back half of the show. So the rest of you 265, we saw Vicente Luque and Michael Chiesa. Whoo, man. All right, so I'll put this out here right now. I had Luque. I'm pretty sure one other person, maybe one other person, being Austin, Colby, Mark, and Dylan, had Luque. The rest had Chiesa. We knew Chiesa was the wrestler, and Luque was a great striker. That was the matchup. And we saw Luque and Chiesa have a decent minute to minute and a half of stand-up, and it was a little back and forth. And then we saw Chiesa bulldog a takedown, absolutely get Luque to the ground, get Luque's back right away. But he was too high for a rear naked choke, and as soon as Luque was able to bottom out of it, he puts Chiesa in a Darce choke. In 10 seconds, Chiesa taps out. That fight was over before it even started. Praise to Michael Chiesa. He's obviously a consummate grappler. He's a great wrestler, and he's going to be in that division for a long time. I truly think that Michael Chiesa will compete for a title someday, because ever since he came up from lightweight, this is his first loss in welterweight. And for all intents and purposes, he dominated the fight. He just got caught right at the end, even though it was such a short fight. But Vicente Luque is now one of the top guys in the welterweight division. I believe he's ranked 4 at the moment, because you got Colby, Gilbert, and Leon ahead of him. Kamaru Usman has said that he would rather fight Luque than Edwards. I would agree. Obviously, Usman has to fight Colby in November. When is 268? UFC 268 is November. November what? I just have it in November. November 6th. Wow. So UFC 267 and 268 are a week away from each other? A week of pay-per-views? I assume that that's going to be pushed back, but it's most likely going to be in November. So Usman's going to fight Colby in November. I'm assuming Usman's going to win, completely honest with you. I love Colby. I think he's the second best welterweight in the world, but the distance between Usman and any other welterweight is just that. It's distance. It's fucking distance. And I think Usman retains. And then I think Vicente Luque is the next challenger. Let's take a look at Vicente Luque's record real quick, and I'll put it up on the screen so you guys can see it. Because I believe he's on a couple fight win streak, man. He's 21-7 overall. Dude's only 29 years old, about to turn 30. All right, so let me see if I can share this. All right, here we go. Where did I have it? All right. Vicente Luque is on a 4-fight win streak against Nico Price, Randy Brown, Tyron Woodley, Michael Chiesa. He lost to Wonder Boy, and before that was on a 6-fight win streak, all in the welterweight division. His only 2 losses since 2015 in the UFC are against Leon Edwards and Stephen Thompson, both top 5 ranked right now. And by the way, he lost to Leon Edwards when he was 25, and Wonderboy Thompson 2 years ago, so he was 27. So Vicente Luque has a promising future, man. He is built like a brick shithouse. He's obviously well-rounded in jiu-jitsu, being able to stay out of a great wrestler's rear naked choke. Make no mistake about it, Michael Chiesa will tap out 99.99998% of people in the world. And Vicente Luque didn't let it happen, got right out of it, put him in a Darce, and put him away quickly. It was impressive. Vicente Luque is impressive. Ahead of him, Leon Edwards. The only knock on him is he's not active, and it's a great knock because he's had 1 fight in like 3 years. He needs to have another fight. Do you put Leon Edwards and Luque? You could, but if you're Dana White, you want another challenger. You want someone fresh for Usman to fight, and that's Luque. Edwards needs to fight Gilbert Burns or someone. Gilbert Burns has only had 1 win, Stephen Thompson, since he lost to Usman, even though I truly believe that Gilbert Burns is the most dangerous challenger to Usman's title. I think that Gilbert Burns is the only person, I really think he's the only person that can beat Usman. And I don't even really think that Burns can beat him, but I think if anyone can, it's Burns. Not only do they know each other very well, Burns is equally as good on the ground, and he has power, man. We saw Burns. I don't know if it was scored as a knockdown, but we saw the hardest shot we've ever seen Usman take by Gilbert Burns, and he almost knocked him down. It could have been scored a knockdown. I'm not sure. So Vicente Luque, watch out for him. I believe in the beginning of 2021, because Usman stays active. He's going to have his third fight in 2020. He had 3 fights in 2019. Or excuse me, he's going to have his third fight of 2021, and he had 3 fights in 2020. All title fights. I think Luque fights Usman for the title in like March. Granted, if Usman can beat Covington. It's a big if. I think he will, but it's a big if. I was saying this the other day, and I'm sorry to get off UFC 265, but we will get right back to it. But I was saying this the other day. Usman, and I want to get this fact exactly right. Usman sent his first title fight, which was against Tyron Woodley in 2019, I believe. Has never been on the ground. I didn't say he's never been taken down. I didn't say he's never taken anyone down. I say he's never been on the ground. He had takedowns against Jorge Masvidal where he was like in stack guard, where he was in clinch, or he had control. He had him against Rafael Dos Anjos before he fought Tyron Woodley for the title. Let's put it this way, all right? Tyron Woodley. I just said Woodley. I meant Kamaru Usman. We're talking about Kamaru Usman, of course. Kamaru Usman's, this is ridiculous. Kamaru Usman has had 49 takedowns to 0 times taken down since he got into the UFC. He's never been taken down. How could someone who has fought so many great fighters never been taken down? Because people don't even want to test his wrestling. That's how great his wrestling is. Collegiate national champion, Division 1. He's been training wrestling and jiu-jitsu all his life. And he's never been taken down. Colby, his biggest asset is his cardio and the pace that he can put on people. And we did see that at times, if not most of the time, in their first fight. But it's also his wrestling. We saw it against Tyron Woodley. We saw it against, was it RDA? I don't think it was RDA. We saw it against, somebody. It was RDA. It was RDA in their interim championship fight that Colby won and then got stripped for no reason. Colby just puts a pace on people, man. He just puts a pace and he gets them to the ground. And he doesn't let them up. And he's not going to be able to do that to Usman. Usman's going to be in his face the whole time. He's going to take any punches and he's going to put out stronger punches. Colby's only hope is to just put a volume on Usman that Usman just can't recover from because he's not going to knock him out. He's not going to take him down. He's just going to have to be in his face the whole time, punching him and not getting punched. Something that we've never seen. Something we've never seen anyone do to Kamaru Usman. He has one loss in his career is before he got to the UFC, and it was a first-round rear naked choke by a jiu-jitsu black belt. Kamaru Usman is the greatest UFC fighter. I mean, since Khabib, but well-rounded. Like, he's the most well-rounded mixed martial artist since George St. Pierre. You could make a point for John Jones, and I'm the biggest John Jones dick rider out there. I really am. We did our top 50. I did my top 50. We did our top 15 list. I had John Jones number 1 with a bullet, and I was arguing everybody. John Jones is the best. But I would say Usman's more well-rounded for the simple fact that no one even wants to test his wrestling. Whew. It's ridiculous. All right, going back to UFC 265, I had to get my little rant out there. Kamaru Usman's the fucking man. I just had to get it out there. And that was all about Vicente Luque. We're going to see Vicente Luque fight for the title next year. I guarantee it. And I think I'll save my prediction for when that actually comes about. We won't talk about that yet. But praise be to Vicente Luque and Michael Chiesa. Michael Chiesa is going to be back. He's one of the top 5 welterweights in the world. He had a bad break against a really good fighter, and he will be back. And I look forward to seeing it. Michael Chiesa, Rafael dos Anjos soon. Michael Chiesa. Oh no, I'm thinking, is Rafael dos Anjos in lightweight now? Is that why I'm getting fucked up? He is. Okay, he is. So never mind. Michael Chiesa is going to fight someone in the welterweight division. Who's it going to be? See, there's no great wrestlers, really. Leon Edwards, Michael Chiesa wouldn't be bad. Although I think Leon Edwards should have to fight someone top 5. Yeah. Michael Chiesa's got... He could fight Jorge, but I think Jorge knocks him out. He could fight Neil Magny. That would be a good fight. Bilal Muhammad would be a challenge. Bilal Muhammad's takedown defense is incredible. So that would actually be a great fight, I think. Bilal Muhammad, Michael Chiesa, first half of 2022. Book that. Book that. Vicente Luque, Kamaru Usman for the title next year. And then give me Gilbert Burns, Leon Edwards. I know they've been beefing. They said they're not going to fight, but give it to me anyway because that is going to determine the next number 1 contender. And I think Gilbert Burns wins it, and I think he should because I think Gilbert Burns is he better than Colby? Is Gilbert Burns better than Colby? That would be an interesting fight, actually. Maybe they should save Gilbert, but you can't have Colby. If Colby loses to Usman twice and then he fights Gilbert Burns and wins, do you put him for the 3rd fight right away? That just kind of kills the division. The division's in a tough spot, as any division would be with such a dominant champion. But I look forward to what they're going to do in 2021, and I look forward to the UFC welterweight championship. We're going to see UFC 268, the rematch between Colby Covington and Kamaru Usman. All right, so the co-main event of UFC 265 was another fucking barn burner, man. Jose Aldo beat Pedro Munoz by unanimous decision. Jose Aldo looked like he was 27 years old in WEC again, except he looked more jacked. He looked just as fast. He looked just as elusive. He was throwing great combos, and he made Pedro Munoz, who is a savage. Pedro Munoz is a top 5 bantamweight in the world. I don't care what anybody says. I know we got Dillashaw now. I know we got all these guys. Pedro Munoz is a savage. And Jose Aldo made him look inferior. There's no other way to put it. Jose Aldo made Munoz miss 20 leg kicks, and he landed 2 of them. He looked like he was 30 years old again. What's going on, buddy? Welcome. Clear what you got.
I just woke up.
You can take a minute, man. I'm still going on UFC 265.
Okay.
Jose Aldo. I want to pull up the actual stats, but Pedro Munoz missed 20 leg kicks, and Jose Aldo was so much quicker and so much stronger and so much bigger. Jose Aldo came into that fight a good 2 inches taller. I know they both weighed in at 136 pounds, the bantamweight cutoff, but there's no way Jose Aldo wasn't 150, 155, and Munoz was like 145. He was absolutely bigger and faster and had better striking. It was dominant. Jose Aldo is, in my opinion, I know the bantamweight division's stacked right now. You got Aljo, the paper champ. You got Petr Yan, number 1 contender, the rightful number 1 contender. You got Dillashaw at 2, questionable, but I understand it. Sandhagen at 3, fine. And then you got Jose Aldo at 4. You got Rob Font at 4, and you got Jose Aldo at 5. I believe Jose Aldo should be above Rob Font. I know Rob Font beat the shit out of Cody Garbrandt, which is impressive. Don't get me wrong. It's impressive. But Jose Aldo beat the crap out of Pedro Munoz and beat him more. And Jose Aldo is also the bigger name, and he just looks better. So I would be in favor of Jose Aldo sneaking not only above Rob Font, but above Corey Sandhagen to go to number 3. Could you put him above TJ Dillashaw? It might be a little too early because Aldo is 2 and 3 at bantamweight. So you don't want a guy who's 2 and 3 in the division to be that high, even though he had the bogus loss against Ramirez. But Jose Aldo overwhelmed Pedro Munoz. 114 significant strikes to 75 significant strikes. Jose Aldo. 3-round unanimous decision. Didn't miss a beat. Pedro Munoz looked good at times, but it was all Aldo. And then the main event. The main event for UFC 265 was boring. It's the only way to put it. And it's not boring for the reasons we normally talk about how it was. Normally, if we say a fight was boring, we talked about Gilbert Burns versus Stephen Wonderboy Thompson being boring. And I will say that again. I think it was a boring fight. And that is, and I hope you guys believe me, for anybody who's watching, that style of fighting, it's not a bad style. It's not a style I believe shouldn't be in the UFC. Completely believe it should be in the UFC. Controlling wrestling style. We saw Dillashaw do something similar to Corey Sandhagen in the clinch. You're getting points. That's how you win. That's a game plan. And if it works out for you, great job. Good for you. Gilbert Burns did it to Wonderboy. But there is another element to the sport, and that is to have people want to watch you fight. It's something that Conor McGregor mastered. It's something that Tyron Woodley could never master. But they're both great champions. So Cyril Gane and Derek Lewis was boring. But it's not because Cyril Gane controlled him and had a slow tempo the whole time. It was because Derek Lewis fought for 14 minutes, 11 seconds, and he landed less than 15 shots because he didn't know what to do. Cyril Gane was so much faster. He kept the distance. He had great leg kicks to keep the distance. And then anytime Derek Lewis got close, Cyril Gane would run away. I mean, can you say that
Scared of the power.
Can you say that that's a bad move? No, absolutely not, because it was his game plan and it worked. Can you say that now Cyril Gane will have to adjust the same game plan to Francis Ngannou? And that is honestly not that big of a leap, because the only difference between Derek Lewis and Francis Ngannou is that Ngannou's more conditioned. You know, they have the same style. They like to box. Derek Lewis and Ngannou want to throw haymakers. And Cyril Gane wants to fight and win points and kick you and do all these different things. Cyril Gane knocked TKO Derek Lewis in the third round in a scuffle in which Lewis landed a couple shots. And then after he landed a couple shots, Derek Lewis was gassed in the third round, as we had expected. Even though he only threw 35 strikes, though, the entire fight. He was gassed. Ngannou will not be gassed in the third round after throwing 37 shots. Ngannou will probably have thrown 80 shots by the third round. But I tell you that it was boring. And I tell you that obviously Cyril Gane is the new interim heavyweight championship. We talked about that at the beginning of the show. But I tell you that so that when I bring up the fact that sports books around the world have Cyril Gane as the favorite against Francis Ngannou, we can ponder that for as much as we can, but the fact of the matter is that that's recency bias. That's all it is. Cyril Gane is a tremendous fighter, and he is a great mixed martial artist. We didn't get to see him go on the ground, but we know what he's capable of on the ground. He's an amazing kickboxer. Never been defeated in pure kickboxing, and he still has been defeated in the UFC. He's 10-0 in the UFC. But goddamn, Francis Ngannou is the most scariest man in the world, and he can put anyone's lights out. And he showed capability of wrestling with Stipe Miocic, who's one of the greatest wrestlers the heavyweight division has ever seen. And he manhandled him, dominated Stipe. And we think that Cyril Gane is going to be the favorite against Francis Ngannou. I'll tell you what. John Jones is the one outlier in this division, because John Jones may never get to fight for the championship, even though he deserves to fight for the championship yesterday. But Dana doesn't want to pay him. And I've ranted about how Dana it's his job. It's totally his job to be cheap as possible, but give the fucking fans what they want. And both Ngannou and Jones want to fight, and you're going to make millions, and you got to spend $20 million to pay Jones and Ngannou. I get it. That's a bitch. But at the same time, you're going to be making $150 million off the pay-per-view alone, not including endorsements and all that. But anyway, John Jones is the only person in the world that should be favorited over Ngannou. And to tell you the truth, I don't even know if he would be. And I don't even know if I'd be upset if he wasn't. Because Francis Ngannou can knock anybody out in the world. And so can Derek Lewis. But Ngannou has more power than Derek Lewis. And he's more conditioned. And he's been in championship fights. And he showed his wrestling capabilities much better than Derek Lewis is. So Cyril Gane being the favorite flabbergasts me. I don't understand it. It's recency bias. He's a great fighter. I guess he's more well-rounded than Ngannou. Maybe. Cyril Gane's probably better at kicking than Ngannou. That's fine. Good for him. I'll tell you what, if Cyril Gane runs away from Ngannou the way he ran away from Lewis, Cyril Gane might only land kicks. He might not land a single punch because Ngannou's going to open up. Every single time Gane gets close and Gane will just run away. Whew, it's going to be tough, man. It's going to be really tough. But shout out to Cyril Gane. Shout out to Derek Lewis. Derek Lewis was pretty notably and obviously overwhelmed by his hometown crowd and the pressure that was on him. As soon as the camera panned to him when he was walking out to the crowd, you could see it in his eyes. He didn't come to fight, unfortunately for him, because I'm sure he's obviously super proud to be from Houston. He was super proud to be there. I understand he lost, but he represented them being a badass and going fighting for a heavyweight championship, as he always does. And Derek Lewis will be back, but he didn't come to fight today. And Cyril Gane was more prepared. That's all it was. Will he be the same against Ngannou? I don't think so. And I'm pretty sure that fight will happen in the beginning of 2021, if not at the very end of 2020, or in the beginning. I don't know what year it is. You know what I mean. That's it for UFC 265. It was a great pay-per-view. Money was lost, for sure. Money was lost, but fun was had, and that's all that matters. We're going to take a quick break. Thank you, everybody, for staying tuned in. We'll be right back. Thank you. All right, we're back. Austin will be joining soon. There's a lot of other news that we got to talk about today. UFC 266 is right around the corner. Volkanovski versus Ortega. That's set to be a really good pay-per-view. UFC 267 is 2 months away. That's going to be a great pay-per-view. That's Blackwitch Teixeira and Sterling versus Jan. And then UFC 268, 2 months away. Usman versus Covington and Gaethje versus Chandler. So stacked main event and co-main events for the next 3 months. And I don't know which one I'm more looking forward to. I'm looking at them right now. UFC 266 has the best undercard, but that would make sense because it's the closest one to where we are right now. So the big undercard fights for 267 and 268 haven't really been announced yet. Right. So the undercard is great for 266.
Here.
But then you have UFC 268, which is just the two biggest fights. Hey, man.
Hey.
How's it going?
Pretty good. Better now. I fell asleep sitting up. Sitting up.
Oh yeah. Long day.
Yeah. Swung a hammer 20,000 times.
Nice. That's fun. Sweating
This
your
way.
balls off.
This way. So
Sweating your balls
back.
off.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we're here though.
I think I've taken 3 showers today. That's how fucking sweaty I got.
Yeah. Well, haven't done that, but I passed out right after my shower.
Yeah, I bet. I'm supposed to get 90 all weekend.
High of 95 tomorrow. 100% humidity.
Really?
We might call it a quits at noontime.
Are you serious? I saw there was supposed to be 91.
No, high of 95.
Damn.
And the humidity, it's supposed to feel like over 100. So it's supposed to be the worst day of the year tomorrow.
Yep.
So
that should be fun. Can't wait to go in the kitchen.
I'm outside.
Yeah. UFC 266 is now 5 weeks away. 266 has one of the best undercards of the year, I think.
It's Ortega and Volkanovski.
Mm-hmm. You got Shevchenko Murphy, women's bantamweight. You got Nick Diaz, Robbie Lawler.
Shevchenko's coming out.
Nick Diaz, Robbie Lawler.
Yeah.
Curtis Blades, Jairzinho Rozenstruik. Jessica Andrade versus.
That's a good fight.
Yeah, it is.
Who you got in that one? Rozenstruik or Curtis Blades?
Sorry. I got Curtis Blades.
I got Curtis Blades as well.
It's the same thing as Lewis Curtis Blades.
Yeah.
Though.
Yeah.
If Rozenstruik can land a big shot, Blades will go down.
Curtis Blades wins, he should fight Derek Lewis next. Makes sense.
Yes. And no. The only reason I say no is because if Curtis Blades wins, and Gane and Ngannou fight sometime in the early 2021, I think early 2022.
Yeah.
I think that sets up Curtis Blades and Stipe Miocic beautifully.
Would you be shocked if Ngannou loses?
Yes. I was just talking about that. Cyril Gane's the favorite already against Francis Ngannou.
Wow. I don't know how I feel about that.
It's recency bias. I really think so. I get it. Cyril Gane is a great kickboxer. The way he used distance for his legs against Derek Lewis, it's impressive. But Ngannou is much, much better than Lewis.
Yeah. Yeah, that surprises me. I'm still surprised that Nick Diaz is still the
underdog.
Yeah.
I'm not. Robbie Lawler's
I'm not picking.
Robbie Lawler's gonna win that fight.
Yeah, I got Robbie Lawler.
I'm sure it'll tip to his odds soon. Like people will just hammer Diaz. I'm sure.
Yeah, I might put money on that fight.
Also on 266, we have Marlon Moraes versus Merab Wallace-Willie in the bantamweight division. That is a very instrumental fight. Either Marlon Moraes stays relevant in the division or Merab Wallace-Willie gets put in the thick of things in the bantamweight division because he's on a 3-fight win streak. This will be a second-ranked opponent, and Marlon Moraes is no slouch. So Wallace-Willie's a great wrestler. Marlon Moraes is a great jiu-jitsu / striker.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, I know.
I think striking in MMA is becoming a lot better. I really do.
Yeah.
Striking is. We talk a lot about the leg kicks being a new thing. The striking in the past, I'd say 3-4 years, has just improved dramatically. And I don't know if that's the start of, I would say maybe even 5 years ago. I don't know. Do you feel that way, or is that just me? Because I feel there's been a lot more knockouts. In the past 5 years to the other 5 years. Like, I think it's just so much more.
I think that every single year, face it, MMA is still a new sport.
It is.
It really is still a new sport. So I think every year, everything's getting better. And the champions of today would absolutely destroy the champions of the early UFC, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
That's just how the sport goes.
Yeah, I'd love to see Brock Lesnar return.
Here's what I say about that. You give me who's number 5 in the heavyweight division right now. Number 5 is Alexander Volkov. I think Alexander Volkov beats Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, but I need a bigger name, I feel like. See, like him and Stipe would be a good fight.
I don't think it would be. I think Stipe would ragdoll Brock Lesnar.
Dude, I know. Dude, that's an interesting fight.
It would sell. It would
It would
absolutely
have-
sell.
Yeah, because like
How old do you think Brock is right now?
42.
No, he's like 52.
Is he?
Oh, he's 44. He looks old. He just looks it. Yeah, he's 44. So actually, like
He's too old to come back. But I'm just saying.
he is. But then again, if the
Stipe
UFC pays him $5 million, I bet he'd come back. Fight John Jones.
No. Dismantled.
Ooh, John Jones, Brock Lesnar in the same ring. John Jones would.
I don't know what would happen, dude.
John Jones would fuck him up. Fuck him up. What do you think Brock Lesnar's reach is?
I don't know. I just think it's a weird topic. We went to improve striking to now Brock Lesnar coming back.
Brock Lesnar has an 81-inch reach, so John Jones has 4-inch reach advantage on him. Which honestly doesn't even sound that much.
Yeah, but if John Jones takes him to the ground, oh fuck.
Well, that's the thing. If you're fighting Brock,
Oh fuck.
you don't want to go to the ground.
Oh.
Brock is a great wrestler.
Yeah, but look what Frank Mir did. I mean, I know I'm comparing Frank Mir to John Jones.
Well, you got to think about.
I'm just saying.
Have you watched that whole fight? You're talking about the first time. Frank Mir, Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
Brock
did watch
Lesnar
that fight. My
takes
dad
him-
was pissed.
Brock Lesnar takes him down.
Yeah.
Knocks him down. Ground and pound.
Yeah.
And then wrestlers are known for being weak against heel hooks. They're just adept to it.
Yeah.
And Frank Mir's a jiu-jitsu black belt. And so he just got him in a heel hook
Yeah.
in Brock Lesnar's first UFC fight. So yeah, that looked bad. But then the rest of his fights, Brock Lesnar dominated everybody on the ground until Cain Velasquez. Brock Lesnar is from the University of Minnesota. He is a 2-time national champion in Division I wrestling. And he is like, he used to be an Olympian.
He's fucking
Massive.
huge. Bro.
His
He's like
fist-
300
His
pounds.
fist is the size of my head, and I kind of have a big head.
Yeah, well, it's not that big, but I mean, he is a big human being. Like, he's got to have some fucking gorilla.
Tranquilizers shit.
Yeah, well, he's on steroids for sure. Like,
Yeah.
duh. And then, like, he's got to have gorilla genetics.
He's a Viking. He's
He's got, like the genetics on that dude is insane. Insane. Like, he must have to eat, like, 10,000 calories a day.
Probably.
Like, he's a fucking small whale. He's a baby whale.
Right.
A beluga.
It would be crazy to see Brock and John Jones in the same ring. John Jones at like 240, Brock at like 260. Dude, let Brock do roids, man. Let him get juiced the fuck
That
up.
would be, he would have to go to Bellator.
No, Bellator wouldn't allow that.
So, the heavyweight division.
Hold on, because
has-
we got to ask him this. We're being joined again. Who wins in a fight that you allow steroids? You allow steroids.
No steroids allowed.
No.
No.
Fuck
no,
it.
we never.
Fuck
no, no steroids.
Fuck it.
Yoel Romero
No. That's interesting, but hold that. That's interesting.
and
No. Steroids allowed. John Jones,
Ngannou.
Brock Lesnar.
That'd be cool. He's old.
That'd be
now,
cool.
though.
He's 44.
He's gonna have to.
I thought he was older.
getting on that testosterone therapy.
Oh, that
Oh, he's already on
TRT.
that shit.
Oh, yeah. Is there no chairs down here? You're gonna have to grab one from the deck.
That's fine. Okay, I'll be back.
Sturgis.
How's it going, man?
Sturgis.
Hey, man.
Here you go.
Hey.
Pretty good.
Anyway, so UFC 266.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. We were talking about striking. We were talking about the striking.
Yeah, the strike. All
progression.
right, so the striking in MMA, like, look at Kamaru Usman the past couple of years, improved dramatically. Do you think it's the fighters getting better or the coaching getting better?
You know what I think
Well,
it
obviously
is?
the fighters are getting better, but do you think the coaching has improved in MMA?
I think it is coaching because I think that we're just getting past the phase. Like over the last 3 years,
Mind if I sit next to you?
You can sit next to me
all
or over in the corner.
over the last 3 years, all fighters, with the exception of a few,
Talking
have
about,
a complete martial arts background.
yeah, talking about how striking has improved in the UFC. I'm good.
One second.
Yeah.
I'll have some Rona.
Um,
So over the last 3 years, everybody, with the exception of a few people, have a background in wrestling, jiu-jitsu, Thai, and striking. Whereas before that, most people had a background in striking, and then they just trained wrestling and jiu-jitsu all the fucking time, so they never got better. And so nowadays, you got the Trevor Whitmans, you got the Faraz Sahabis, you got all these guys that can game plan everything, but really train you striking. And so that's why I think striking has gotten
The
a lot
John
better.
Danaher's for jiu-jitsu, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He does striking and jiu-jitsu. He does both.
I don't know. The Nurmagomedov family kind of just tore through.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm
Talk
of the
about
opinion, and it's a
game plan?
very hot take that Khabib Nurmagomedov is not a well-rounded UFC
No, it's
fighter.
not.
I've been tweeting about that.
That's
Is this
the
twist?
thing. It is not.
Khabib Nurmagomedov is not the greatest pound-for-pound champion of all time.
I was
is the
thinking about this
greatest-
the other day.
He is the greatest lightweight
Of all
champion
time. Of all time.
Of all time.
Lightweight.
Of all time.
All time.
It's not even close.
Can
because of the rounds.
we did our top 15 greatest UFC fighters, which if you haven't checked it out, UFC MMA Complete Podcast episode 53, go check it out on MMA Complete Podcast YouTube page. Can we go over best by division? I think we'd probably all know it. I think we all kind of got it down, but like, can we just do that real quick? Because I think that'd be interesting.
Best by division? Yeah, that's fine.
Heavyweight.
Who's that? Artem Lobov? Yeah.
No, not Artem Lobov.
Who's that?
Artem
No,
Lobov.
That guy
I
was
thought you said
like
heavyweight.
that
I
guy
did.
who tweeted that. Yeah, that guy who tweeted that, he was like Artem Lobov was number one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Whatever.
he's- Yeah,
I was
he's
like,
the
what
joke.
the fuck is this guy?
He had a
He
ton
was
of
pretty
hype
good.
going in,
Mhm.
but then he fucking.
And then he
lost.
got, yeah.
And then he ended up retiring like a week later. I'm like,
All
but
right.
anyway.
Heavyweight GOAT of all time. It's between,
Probably Stipe, no?
are we gonna say UFC or are we gonna say of all time? Because if we can say not just UFC, I think that would make this list better.
Gotta look at
Oh, I
title
can't do that.
defenses.
If you
I
talk,
think Stipe has the most.
he
right?
does, yes. Here's my
It
thing.
makes sense, right? I'm not the judge.
Here's my thing.
Well, I am judging.
Fedor Emelianenko. You know who Fedor is?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
know
bet you it was an
Fedor.
early.
But I've never watched him fight.
Fedor was undefeated for 13 years. But he didn't face that great of competition. He fought Crow Cop twice. He fought Mark Hunt. He fought Alistair Overeem. But like,
Beat Crow Cop twice.
yes, right. But besides that, he didn't have any competition. But Fedor is probably the best of all time. UFC, it's Stipe, and then Kane, I would say.
Yeah, I was gonna say Kane.
It really sucks he never got to be champ. Over him. He's been fucking people up. since he was
but
like,
Yeah, but you see
he was a
his,
middleweight.
if you see his career, as soon
no,
as
he's always
USADA,
been a heavyweight.
as soon as USADA came
Look
into the
that up.
UFC,
It wasn't even
Pretty good down.
USADA. As soon as he left Pride, because he was fighting in Japan
Yeah.
for 5 years. As soon as he came to America, he dropped 20 pounds because he didn't have steroids anymore. So Stipe is the greatest heavyweight. Greatest light heavyweight of all time, Jan Blachowicz.
no, it's John Jones.
Greatest light heavyweight of all time is John Jones.
It's not bad.
Greatest
Right?
middleweight of all time.
Oh man.
Let him say it.
Obviously. Wait, no, he's welter.
Let him say it.
No. Gotta think back in the books. I don't know. Middleweight? Past middleweight champions. Silva? Was he light heavyweight? He was champion.
Anderson Silva's middleweight.
Was he?
Yes.
Oh, fucking Silva.
I didn't know if you were going to say Adesanya.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna say.
I thought you might
Me
say
too,
Adesanya.
Me too. Me
Okay.
too.
Anderson Silva is the greatest middleweight of all time. I'll fight anybody about that. Anderson Silva has 14 title defenses for the middleweight division, tied with John Jones. GSP has 13.
I think Kamaru Usman's on his way though. Not gonna front.
Usman has 7 right now,
Oh, he's close.
but he's on a 16 fight win streak. 15.
Oh,
15?
he's close.
He's gonna get
bro.
there. Welterweight.
If he gets to 20, wow.
Welterweight.
Welterweight.
It's GSP
I
right
think
now.
It's gotta be GSP.
It's GSP right now.
What do you mean?
What do you
This
mean?
is
Yeah.
the best of all time.
Yeah. But Kamaru Usman, give him 3 years.
Are
Give
you
him
saying
3 years.
welterweights or-
Yeah, welterweights.
Welterweights.
Give Usman
Yeah.
3 years.
I think Usman's very close, bro. Very
is.
close.
The only thing that could hurt Usman is if he doesn't have competition, man. Because if he beats Covington again and then he beats Burns, like Luque is going to be up there. Leon Edwards might get a shot, but how impressive is that? Like,
Dude, Leon Edwards called out Gilbert Burns, dude. He doesn't even want to fight for the title.
he should fight. No, Leon Edwards shouldn't fight for the title. He should fight Gilbert Burns. I think that
It's
is
really
completely
just
the way to
hard
go.
to be the new guy getting that title shot when Usman's
Right, but Leon Edwards
set up for a
isn't the
couple
new
other bigger
guy.
paydays.
Leon Edwards isn't the new guy. He's been in the top 5 of that division for 3 years now.
Yeah,
But what's
yeah,
the
but he
bigger
didn't fight for
payday?
2. Didn't fight for 2 years.
Obviously, you have to
Right.
payday first.
Right.
So
Is
it's
it first, though? When you're talking championships, is it first? I get it is for some people, the
I would definitely say
McGregors.
No, even if you're there, you got to make the most of it, right? You don't know how long you're going to be there.
That's a great point. But at the same time, if you're a champ, you're making $1 million plus a fight anyway. All right, you fight twice a year, you get 2 bags.
It's true.
Is that not enough? I get it. Everybody wants to be Conor and make $10 million a year.
It's true.
He makes more than that a year.
Just off fights, I mean. Just off fights. I know, obviously, he makes way more
I
than
think he
that.
makes 20.
But
Boy, who's the one
That's
who's
not
peddling
gonna
it? I
happen.
don't really feel like it's the fighters who are peddling it. And
it's not. It's completely Dana. It's completely Dana.
Yeah.
I hope Cyril Gane Ngannou goes to a decision. I hope it's just a slugfest, and they just can't knock each other out. I don't see that happening,
Ngannou.
but I
Maybe
mean,
Gane. We haven't seen Gane even get hit.
who do you think the
really.
favorite is?
Going into that?
Yeah,
Gane. Why?
Khan's the favorite right now.
Did they already release it? Holy shit.
It's not official odds. It's like
Oh,
premature odds.
really?
But it was Sportsbook that put it out.
God.
So it's premature odds. This is not
Yeah, I get
actual.
it. I really get it. It's so much. Dude,
This is not actual odds
No,
from an
I know you
official
have.
sports book.
It's a little-
Therefore,
Gane was training him, right? When they
that's
trained together?
correct. Yes.
I don't know if he was training him, but like I don't think.
Cyril Gane's whole coaching staff was part of the coaching staff that Ngannou had when he was in France, and he took the head coach from that camp and went to America.
Mhm.
Cyril Gane's first head coach is Ngannou's current head coach.
Oh my god, I did not know that. This is weird. You think maybe
They're
Gane
brothers.
wins?
They're like brothers.
Maybe Gane wins.
I think Ngannou slumps Cyril Gane in the second round. I do. And the only reason I don't say it's first is because I think Cyril Gane has some amazing
Clinch work.
No,
Cyril
like-
Gane has
like
amazing
body
clinch work.
kicks.
He does.
His
No,
clinch
yeah,
is his
yeah.
clinch work is
Clinch to the
insane.
body.
I
Take
thought
that space.
Derek Lewis did a really great job in the clinch against Cyril Gane. You didn't get to see it too much, but I thought Lewis did really good in the clinch.
I thought he lost all the time in the clinch. 'cause a
Well,
lot
there
of
was
the
only
highlights in the
20 seconds in the clinch throughout the whole fight.
Yeah, but he pulled off a fucking crazy move with the
Derek
elbow.
Lewis was getting hot. He was sweating.
Lightweight goat Khabib.
Yeah.
Here's the interesting one.
Michael Chandler.
Featherweight goat.
Michael Chandler.
I can't wait to see
You
him
can't
get
sneak
his
away
ass
from that
into
one.
him and then never hear about him again.
I do think that Gaethje beats Chandler. Featherweight goat.
You said last week Chandler beats Gaethje? Oh wait,
I think I said Gaethje.
did
I'm
you?
pretty sure I said Gaethje. I think Gaethje wins.
I think Gaethje wins that too. I mean,
Do you think they let him go? Because like I think he's
No.
off a losing streak in Bellator too, right?
Who's this? Chandler?
Chandler.
No, I don't think they let Chandler go. Absolutely not.
no, he's an easy.
He almost
easy name to
almost
sell.
knocked out the champ.
Dude, he has a name in the UFC.
Yeah, he
already.
does.
Like it's crazy.
Absolutely.
Like he get a
He
name
knocked
in
the
UFC,
fuck out of
but
Dan
it's
Hooker.
He did.
If his
fast.
if his only 2 losses in the UFC are to the champ Charles Oliveira on a 9-fight win streak, one of the greatest jiu-jitsu artists of all time, and Justin Gaethje, that's not a bad losing record. That's not bad enough to get you cut. I don't think so. And the lightweight division's so stacked that you don't want to let a fucking top guy go. You want to bleed that division out for as
Yeah,
much as
that is
possible.
true.
All right, so
People
featherweight.
watching that shit.
Featherweight goat.
Holloway. I mean,
You got 3.
well,
You got Holloway. You got Aldo.
and Volkanovski.
McGregor.
Oh, that's true. And he did beat Holloway.
McGregor beat Holloway, Mendez, Poirier, and Aldo in a year and a half in featherweight.
Wow. All right.
Granted,
He might be the GOAT of featherweight.
Granted, Max Holloway was 23 and Poirier was 25. And Poirier did not do good at featherweight, and now he's ripping shit up in lightweight.
But he beat Holloway.
Back to that.
No, Kamaev too. We can't talk about him. All right, never mind. All right, keep going.
Who's a featherweight goat?
Holloway, I would say.
I would say McGregor, dude. He beat all those people in a year and a half.
I would say that's so funny. I'd fucking say Aldo.
It's either McGregor or Aldo. Honestly,
I would say it's Aldo.
I mean, Aldo was
McGregor had a great year and a half. McGregor had a great 2-year run, man. He had a great 2-year run.
Yeah,
but like at the end of the day, he's 5-1 at feather. He's 5-0 at featherweight. He's 5 fights at featherweight. Can you be the GOAT of a division if you have 5 fights?
That's what I mean. That's tough.
2 out of 5 of them.
But who's gonna beat him?
Be champion.
Who's gonna beat him at featherweight?
He's not going to fight at featherweight ever again.
Has he lost a round in featherweight?
Yeah, I'm sure he has. I don't know that answer off the top of my head, but I'm sure he has. He lost a round against Aldo.
No, he did not.
I'm just kidding. He lost the first 6 seconds against Aldo.
I don't think he lost a round against Holloway.
So crazy that he knocked him out, dude. Like, God, that's so nuts.
That was all shit talking too.
I remember that in school, man, when he knocked him out.
Aldo?
Yeah. And it was like, holy fuck. Like, this dude was talking all that shit, and he really did it. First round knockout. Mystic Mac, and this motherfucker knocks him out in 13 seconds. Fastest knockout in UFC history.
I'm gonna go ahead and say
what the fuck?
Max Holloway is the featherweight GOAT.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Holloway.
Good choice.
I'm gonna change mine to Jose Aldo.
Listen, man, I think the biggest travesty that we've seen by the judges.
Thank you.
The biggest travesty we've seen by the judges is Holloway Volkanovski 2. Max Holloway should be the featherweight champion. I really believe that.
No, I think the BMF belt.
That wasn't the judges. That was the doctor. That's probably one of the biggest doctor blunders in the UFC.
Oh, yeah.
100%. But as far as judges, dude, Max Holloway won that fight.
Do you think that doctor went home and someone was like, hey, I'm going to show you a couple pictures of that dude that you just stopped, his fight? I'm going to show you a couple.
It was a bad gash. Nick Diaz was. It was a deep cut.
It's been there before.
It's just so bad. It's the baddest motherfucker belt, and The Rock's putting it on you, and you win it by a doctor stoppage on an eye cut. Like
they will run it back.
I don't know if they will.
They will run it back. Dana White does that to build hype. That fight will happen when they're older.
You know what's so funny to me?
When they're both like
so funny?
38.
Nick Diaz.
He's gonna lose.
I don't want to say he's the most overrated fighter in the UFC right now, but for the payday that he will get a payday for his next fight.
Yep.
He's maybe the most overrated. And the fact that he made
Nick or Nate?
Nate.
Okay.
The fact that he made like $150K fighting Leon Edwards. Like, he didn't make a lot at all. He made like $150K.
That's it?
Yeah. Leon Edwards made like $500K. But like, put him against there's 2 fights to make for Nate Diaz.
Nate Diaz gave Leon Edwards. He did him a favor for fighting him.
Yeah. Right.
Built up his name. He did him a fucking favor.
He did.
Leon Edwards owes him. Anyway, continue.
Nate Diaz will either fight Jorge Masvidal or Conor McGregor next. Why else would you do anything else with Nate Diaz? What else would you do? Conor and Nate Diaz 3 should happen next year. I think it should happen next year.
Dustin Poirier called out Nate Diaz. And this is what I really wanted to lead into, that I tweeted about this. If Dustin
follow us at complete_MMA.
Yeah, if Nate Diaz fights Dustin Poirier, just get rid of the rankings in the UFC. They don't fucking matter.
Right.
They do not fucking matter. If Islam Makhachev fights a number 14 guy and gets moved up to number 5, the rankings don't give a...
It's all popularity.
It don't fucking matter. So what I think we should do is make our own rankings. I think that's what we should do for next pod.
I'm down. I would love to do that.
I think we should do our own rankings and then compare them to the UFC's.
Is Sean O'Malley in your top 15 bantamweights?
No.
Okay.
Who has he fought?
I might be 15.
I don't know.
Who's 15? Do you know? Do you even know
Who's
his
he
name?
faced, dude? He couldn't even knock out a guy that took a 10-day notice.
Corey Stammen. Cheeto Vera's 14. Jimmy Rivera's 13. That's a tough list to crack for bantamweight.
Yeah, that
It's
is.
a fucking tough list to crack.
How do you put him above
You lose to
Cheeto
Cheeto,
Vera?
and it's like you can't.
You don't put him above Cheeto Vera.
Where
Yeah.
Cheeto goes now, right?
Here's the thing. We, and this is something I fucking respect you guys so much for, myself included.
Thank you.
Okay.
We
Go on.
are UFC mixed martial art purists. We believe that rankings are based on skill and experience in previous fights. But they're not. They're just not. UFC, like it or not, is also based on if a fighter can sell himself.
Okay.
It totally is. Conor
Yeah,
McGregor was
honestly.
number 15 on the pound for pound rankings until he just lost to Poirier.
Where do you put Michael Chandler?
In the lightweight division?
Where do you rank him? Because he's not supposed to be ranked up there, dude.
7.
Why not?
He's not supposed
He
to be
beat Dan Hooker when Dan Hooker was 5.
Well, I guess if you lose to the champ, you got to work it all
Right,
the way
and
back
he-
up.
And
I
he
would
lost.
put Rafael dos Anjos ahead
Where's
of him.
Hooker?
Hooker's 8.
So I just put him 7. Where's Rafael?
You wouldn't put Michael Chandler above Tony Ferguson,
When was the last time Rafael won?
I would.
but Tony shouldn't be at 6.
Tony shouldn't be a 6, I don't think.
Should Dan Hooker be above Tony?
Bro,
Yeah.
When is the last
But
time
look at who's
Rafael
Tony's
dos
lost
Anjos-
to.
I know, it's crazy, though.
Tony's
You gotta
lost
look
to
at-
Gaethje, Oliveira, and Beneil Dariush.
Yeah, but look at-
literally 3 of the top 4.
Okay,
in the
Where's
division.
Dariush?
You got to look at
Three.
it like this. Tony Ferguson, he might be done, bro.
I don't think he is.
He might be done. We just talked about striking getting improved.
Oh, how
in
did I
the
forget
UFC.
about Makhachev?
A lot more people can be on the ground. I think he's a little out of his prime. He's definitely out of his prime.
I'll tell you what. Tony Ferguson has gotten exposed for his ground game over the last year. That he's gotten
Two
exposed.
fights. Past 2 fights.
I need to know the last time Rafael
And then he-
won.
And then he got absolutely demolished.
Like, Kevin Lee's pretty fucking good, bro.
So Sean Brady's out of
Please
his
hold
fight
on.
against Kevin Lee. What are you looking for?
Last fight.
For who?
Rafael. Why can't you just click on his name?
It doesn't go to it like that. It's quicker. Trust me, I've done this a time or two.
Rafael dos
Oh,
Anjos
okay.
and
Beat
Conor
Paul
McGregor
Felder.
should fight.
When? That was
November 2020, almost a year ago, by split decision. Wow, Rafael dos Anjos.
He's got some fucking name. He's got some good names, dude. That
he's
lost
fought good names.
Yeah, but
to. And he's gone all 5 round unanimous.
his
decisions
last
lost.
3 wins are Kevin Lee, Robbie Lawler, and Paul Felder. But
And
look,
he's got
lost
four. He's
so
got 4 losses
many.
in those. Don't forget that.
Kobe, Kamaru Usman, Leon Edwards, Michael Chiesa. They're all top 5.
I mean, shit. The 6
Chiesa.
people he's lost to.
Chiesa's not top 5 anymore.
The 6 people he's lost to are damn good fighters.
Tony Ferguson and Eddie Alvarez for the championship.
All right, so he has a great loss record. He has a great loss record.
But that I don't know. Maybe he's up there because
Do you put him above Tony?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think I put him above Tony now. Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I do.
I don't think I would.
It's a great fight to make.
That is a great fight to make. That should be the fight.
I think if we were to
That was
make our
close.
own
I think Tony and Nate Diaz is another great fight to make. I really think that.
it's a great
10
fight.
round fight. Fuck it. 10 rounds. Let's go.
If you're
10
Tony,
rounds.
are
10
you
rounds.
are you choosing?
Just
or
don't
you
even have a
just
scorecard or a time. Don't even have a time. Just go.
Can you make that a main event though?
Of a fight night, sure. 100%. Nate Diaz will.
A Nate
Headline
Nate
any fight
Diaz
night.
on a fight night?
any of the Diaz boys could
I
do
don't
it.
know.
Could just headline.
Another thing I want to
Ooh,
talk
so-
about: co-main event. Should co-main events be 5 rounds? I know we're getting all over the place, but
Well, we talked about
all
this
right,
the
let's
other
just
day.
recap. We should make a
No.
our own bracket, our own.
I'm
You know-
down to do that for next week.
And all right,
I like
what
the
I
idea.
just said.
I like the idea.
Yeah.
But when it's 1 a.m. and co-main's coming on and they go to a decision and it's 1:30 now you got to stay up till
You get rid
2.
of all right. Get rid of one prelim fight.
I I don't know if I would. Yeah, I don't know if I would like.
Or one less. I know it does. Well, all right then.
And I'm just saying that's us. Like literally at 1 a.m. we're gonna be like.
Well, we
There's
were
been a lot
talking
of
about this at the
knockouts.
pay per view. We've been talking about this. We talked about this last pay per view.
Well,
We just
what
didn't
do you think? Do you think the co-main should be 5 rounds? I mean, it's only 2 more rounds. It's not gonna be a fucking extra 10 minutes, 15
I would
minutes,
say.
an extra 15 minutes.
I
I
would
think
say.
headbutts should be illegal.
All right, bro. All right, hang on.
I would say. Although I would like to talk about that, not headbutts, but something else like that. I think that some I don't think it should be across the board co-main should be 5 rounds. I don't think so.
Well, it's either
But-
it is or it ain't.
Well, it's not.
No,
because
either it is. Well, what do you think? Well, that's what I mean. Like, if it is to get
If-
changed, either it is or it ain't.
If I had to say, should it be across the board all 5 rounds or across the board not all 5? I'd say across the board not all 5.
Not all 5.
Because
I think they should.
here's the thing, though. When you say co-mains, are you just talking pay-per-views? Or are you talking fight nights? Because there's a whole lot of fight night co-main events. No disrespect to the UFC fighters.
That is also.
I couldn't give a fuck about them going 5 rounds.
Maybe pay-per-views. Pay-per-views co-main event should be 5 rounds
That's
'Cause you're
almost
paying.
understandable.
because you're paying.
But at the same time, there's some pay-per-views. Like, let's look at 265. No disrespect to Jose Aldo and Pedro Munoz. They're both top 5, or they were both top 7 fighters. They're great fighters.
Yeah. They would need to get a better co-main then. They would need to get a better.
That's the
co-main.
problem. What if it gets
They-
canceled? What if it gets canceled and now
or-
the third fight is the co-main?
Or you just suck it up, and that's what it is. That's what it is for one pay-per-view. You get Pedro
Here's-
Munoz and Jose Aldo.
Here's another part about that.
I think it should be 5 rounds.
If you get a fight, say it's a fight, the third fight, and the co-main gets canceled, and now the third fight's going 5 rounds, and it's between 11 and 13 of the middleweight division. Some shit. It's like a good fight, but
A
it's
co-main?
nothing crazy. Yes.
If a co-main gets canceled,
Yes.
that doesn't really happen. It just did happen,
Yeah, it happens. From
but
time
it
to
really
time.
doesn't happen. But
Right.
yeah, sure. Let's say it
So,
does.
so now you're watching.
Now
about
you're watching that, but not
11
only that.
versus 13, 5 rounds. at
Not
1
only
in the
that.
morning.
I'm talking broadcast marketing numbers wise. That extra 2 rounds literally just cost you 80,000 viewers towards your main event because people are falling asleep
I don't know.
or
about
they're
that.
not trying to watch the rest of it.
I don't know.
Maybe
I don't know.
80,000 steep, maybe
Also-
it's 40,000, but that's still numbers, man.
I don't think
That's
I
the
don't think
fucking
so.
numbers.
That's a wild guess.
I don't think it's too
That's
wild.
a wild guess.
I don't think so. I think that's a pretty reasonable number.
That's a guess.
It is a guess. I understand that,
Yeah.
but it's a knowledgeable guess. It's an
Not
inference.
knowledgeable.
Yes, it is.
There's no knowledge behind that.
Of course it is. What do you mean?
There's no knowledge behind that guess.
You think if you have a co-main event that's
I
going
think more
5,
people would watch because there's more.
you think if you have a
Mm.
co-main event that goes 5 rounds,
It's late here.
Yeah, but like,
It's late here. Not over there.
you know, if they go past their time, they have to pay a certain amount. Like every 10 minutes, it's like a certain amount of money.
I would
Saw
think
Dana
that would be a thing. Yeah, I would think ESPN would.
Well, they do
that,
press
yeah.
conferences after and stuff and all that jazz too. So it's
I
not
saw
like-
during the last press conference, Dana was like, "We went over by how much?" And they were like,
Oh, yeah,
every
the
10
whole-
minutes, it's like 80 grand. He's like, "How much?" And he
Yeah.
started freaking out.
80 grand. Get the fuck out of here.
He didn't
Dana.
care like that much, but he was like, "Oh shit."
Before you guys got here, I had a little rant about Dana White. I'm beginning to hate the guy.
Bro, raise minimum wage of UFC fighters.
See, like I got a different view on it. Like I think like he gives them the name to go in the UFC. Like look at Terrence McKinney. You know, he has his own merch line. Like the UFC don't get any money from his merch that he sells. Like, you know, it's the gratitude of going into the UFC. Like Proper 12, the UFC. Well, they probably invested in it, but you know,
Well, UFC uses Reebok to make their clothing, right?
Yeah.
So they have to go through them. I'm sure they get all the money through the UFC store that you buy, and like that fighter gets a
no,
little
you
bit.
set up
I
your own
bought that
store, your
fucking-
own website, like TerrenceMcKinney.com.
And that's what I know Sean O'Malley did.
Yeah.
Because he was getting fucked over by UFC.
Yeah, he made his own YouTube. Like you can market yourself in other ways, like
Yeah.
make money as other ways, and like still get your name out there. Like,
You're completely right. But at the same time, you're talking about a very small percentage of UFC fighters that make a name for themselves that do that.
You know, actually, take a
But
second to realize
those are the
what
ones that
Sean
take
O'Malley
advantage of it.
was. It's not even like a UFC fighter. Like,
No, he's a personality that fights in
and
the
he,
UFC.
and he, literally just uses their platform, and he gets to the spot, and he fucking sells it, and they don't got a problem with it. He
Colby
fights
Covington.
non-contenders. Like,
Colby Covington.
it's crazy.
I would say that Colby Covington is way less of a name than Sean O'Malley.
No, I'm not saying the name. I'm not saying it like that. I'm
But he
just saying
markets
he
himself.
uses the platform.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not saying his name is bigger or not bigger. I think they're pretty close. But I think he uses the platform to get his name out there. And it works pretty fucking good. And he makes a lot of money off that.
Colby doesn't even make that much fucking money.
He made okay, so what's
For
a lot of,
UFC
what's
UFC
a lot of money?
fighters.
What's a lot of money? Like we're comparing it to boxing. Boxing has been around for over 100 years. No shit, they're gonna make more money. Like look at Floyd Mayweather. The
Yes,
guy's
but at
fucking
the
50. The guy's 50-0. Everybody
right,
who
can
pays for
I-
his fight wants to watch him lose. That's why they pay for the
Can we
fight.
talk about? Can
Lower
I?
the prices of training, just in general?
Can I
Why-
put this
why-
figure out there, and I'll let you guys make the assessment for yourselves. The UFC for 2020 through COVID, they had mad canceled events. They had to give back tickets. They didn't even sell gates for most of 2020.
Fucking
The
screw that.
UFC
I mean, the best sports organization
through COVID,
through 2020.
100%.
Yeah.
That's another factor. They were the most popular because people actually get to saw it.
But
The
they
UFC
still fucking-
netted $30 billion in 2020.
Is that better than
Hold on.
2019?
Well, hold on. Netted $30 billion. Their total fighter payroll.
A bill. Not even.
$48 million.
Full health. You know, if they get hurt in the fight, they get covered. You know, and like I said before, they get the market. They get the free range market. They can do whatever they want. You know, it's not like boxing.
I'm a
When-
union guy.
Yeah,
I'm a union guy, and UFC is the biggest sport in the world right now that does not have a players' union.
Yeah.
I think that is the most logical step. But here's the thing, right? The only way that there'll ever be a players' union, a
There's no
fighters'
teams
union in the
So how are these people going to essentially
It-
team up?
I can show you.
And I don't mean
The
like that.
the way that it would happen is the UFC fighters themselves would have to all gather together and say, we're not going to fight until there's a union. But that won't work because there will always be fighters that will say, no, fuck that, I want to get paid. And Dana White will take those fighters and have them fight and make stars out of them.
Sure, because there's only one person in charge. It's Dana White. He makes all the rules.
Yes and no. Dana White's the head promoter, but he has royalties in UFC. He doesn't own percentages, or at least a majority percentage in UFC anymore. Him and the Fertitas sold it to Zuffa, and then Zuffa sold it a couple of years ago to someone else. I can't remember the name. But Dana White is still the head figure. He's the figurehead.
he
of
still
the UFC.
owns a percentage of it.
Yeah.
Just not as big as before.
He's the figurehead of the
Pretty
UFC.
sure he
So
still
who-
owns like 5%,
Who's in
which is a
charge of it?
lot.
Look up. I'm curious. I thought it was Dana.
Oh yeah.
MMA Complete Podcast 59 exposing UFC.
Correct.
All I'm saying is the
Endeavor.
only reason why we talk about
You said
MMA
something.
and the only reason why we talk about jiu-jitsu and all this is because of the UFC. So
Correct.
we wouldn't even be talking about any of this shit if it wasn't for Dana White.
Should we talk about PFL and
No.
Bellator and
No, it's not worth our
Bare
time.
Knuckle? Maybe.
It's not even worth our time. Bare Knuckle could be worth
Bare
our time.
Knuckle's getting up there, dude. It's getting Chuck Liddell just signed to him.
Bare Knuckle actually could prove my point. Not prove my point, but it just adds on to what I was saying. Paige Van Zandt. Paige Van Zandt's another person. We're not going to get into this, but she found other ways of making revenue, not just off her UFC salary. Paige Van Zandt did not get fired from the UFC. She left the UFC because her last fight she made $12,000.
So
All right.
that's the same amount that Mia Khalifa got
How do you know Paige Van Zandt?
for all those seats.
I don't know her
No, but how do you know her name?
from the
Bodie.
UFC.
Okay, boom.
Being a cutie.
How do you think
with
she
a
made
booty.
all
Do you
that
think-
money on OnlyFans?
Do you
though?
think that's enough of a reason for them to
telling you
not?
if the UFC called you and was like, yeah,
You know,
I just wanna have your podcast
actually-
on, you go, yeah.
All right,
Because
I
the
don't mean to be a
name-
I'm
man.
not-
I don't mean to be a man, and I don't mean to think with my dick. But like when I watch the women's UFC fighters, I enjoy watching the cute ones. And like, you're really gonna get rid of.
They didn't get rid of her.
that we know of.
They didn't get rid of her. They just wouldn't
paid
pay her.
$12,000.
Right.
You're
Right.
really gonna do that?
Right.
She got sponsors and stuff. She made more than
A
$12,000.
badass
She made
model,
$12,000 for the
basically,
fight.
is fighting for you. People tune into that fight just cause they see like a picture of this really cute girl. And they're like, oh, it's a fucking UFC fighter. Let me see how she does. And then they're watching her shit.
I wholeheartedly understand what you're saying, and you're completely right. The fact that the UFC doesn't owe anything to the fighters and that they should be as cheap as possible. I realize the business side of that completely. All I'm saying is the UFC has a monopoly. I get Bellator, Strikeforce, PFL, Bare Knuckle. All that is out there, but UFC has a monopoly over mainstream MMA fighting. They do. They just do. And if you want to make a name for yourself outside of the UFC, which is what you're talking about, having revenues.
There's a boxing union?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. There's multiple unions
So
that
no, but then you got-
union.
Then you got Canelo Alvarez, like he signed. There's a contract for 5 years.
Well,
bro,
just
and then he's
because-
fucked for 5 years.
just
Like,
because there
it's
are
like the
unions,
music industry.
just because there are unions in boxing doesn't mean you have to be in them. Canelo's not probably in a union because Showtime's going to pay him $300 million.
I don't know. It's like LeBron James getting paid $40 million and Harden getting paid $50 million, and then you got Joe Schmo on the bench getting paid $600K. What's the difference?
The difference is
What's the difference?
the difference
Some-
is Paige Van Zandt was ranked in the top 10 and she's making 12,000 while number 8's making 130,000.
Okay, so that team makes it to the NBA championship, dude, and
Who's
Joe
the- who's
Schmo is
making
still
more than
making
her?
$500K.
What do you mean?
Most people. Paige Van Zandt she wasn't a great fighter, but she was in the top 15.
She was really locked into that 12,000 fight.
I just
Not at
know
all. Not at all.
I just know that her last fight she made $12,000 off UFC contracts.
She didn't have to accept that fight.
It's understandable.
That is another benefit of the UFC.
She just lost it.
I am not a fan of monopolies, and the UFC has monopoly over mainstream MMA.
Not at all, because if you make them a unionized, bro, how do you pay a champion and the other guy fight? And in all these other prelims, dude, they're still gonna get paid so much different, and then they're gonna be people complain about that. They're gonna be complaining about the union. It's
But
where do you draw the line? Like that's what I want to know. Like where do you
draw-
how
Wait.
should everybody get paid like $50,000 across the board?
I'd be in favor of that, yeah.
But some people suck are gonna get cut, and you're gonna have people that spend their whole paycheck and go into.
50,000 across the
Hey,
board.
I think
guy
50K
champion?
should be a minimum. No, for anybody. I think
don't-
50K for a minimum wage is fair. At least fair.
I think there should be like
I don't know.
prelims.
I think Chris Montino quit his job, everything, just to fight one fight in the UFC.
Do you know how many people have done that though?
I mean, exactly. That's what I mean.
And it doesn't always work out like
But
Chris
that- but-
Matinho did.
That's what I mean, though. People still do it. Why? Why do they do it?
There's
Because of
not
the
a
name of the
single-
UFC. Because that's what it gives them the benefit of the doubt.
Dude,
Chris
9
Montino-
out of 10 of the kids on the Ultimate Fighter never even gonna see that,
Ever again. Ever
No.
again. You gotta take your
and some of
gotta
them
take your
dropped
opportunities.
everything to go to the Ultimate Fighter and be on that show.
Yeah.
They're getting paid jack shit, really.
There's a difference
Gives them a
between
name, they can
the
go to a
Chris
camp,
Moutinos
give lessons.
and the Ultimate Fighters and people, and I don't mean to keep bringing up Paige Van Zandt because she's nobody as far as the UFC is concerned, but she had multiple fights in the UFC and she got paid what I get paid in like 3 months for a fucking UFC fight. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's
You don't
all
think
I'm
she
saying.
made more than 12,000.
Off UFC, no. I don't think
You
she
don't
did.
think she
3
made
months of
more
work.
than 12,000?
UFC,
3 months of
no.
work versus
She made
20
that
minutes
money
of work.
because of the UFC, bro. What don't you understand about that? All
I
that money
understand that
extra
completely.
She made because of the
I
UFC.
understand that completely
So I don't understand.
because the UFC paid her $12,000 to have a fight.
You know what? We
So
don't
you
know the
think you can
figures.
make
We
more
don't know
money
the
than Paige Van
figures.
Zandt in
coming in.
3 months? 12 grand.
I can make 12 grand.
No, but that's what I mean.
Actually,
Like, she
no,
made
that's totally
way
not
more-
true. It's like
she-
5 months, 4 or 5 months.
Like you think she only makes 12 grand? No, bro. She makes way more than 12 grand. Just for that fight, she made 12 grand. There's more that comes to it.
You don't know the figures coming in from her other.
I realize that there's.
Like,
I realize
makes
she's.
way more money than you actually think.
I realize she's making
Way
more than 12 grand on endorsements and other shit. I completely realize that. That's what I've been saying. But she got
Every fighter.
but she got paid. It's not for every fighter.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. Every
Yes,
fighter
it
makes
is.
more money off of other stuff than their UFC salary.
Bro. Yes, they do. If they do it right, that's what they all have the opportunity to do that. Some
They all
don't.
Dude, no.
You
I'd
just
say
said.
90%
You just said it. They all have the.
Exactly. They all have the opportunity.
They all
You
have
go
the
to
opportunity,
boxing,
but that
But
doesn't
would
mean
you
that they
really
all
care?
do it.
Would you really care?
Would
If
I
They
care?
all did it. If they were all on fucking social media posting.
It would make the UFC a lot better if they're all like Sean O'Malley.
Yeah. Like,
But
I can
not
never
every-
have
and
so
they would
many
all make-
Sean O'Malley's.
They would all
Like,
make a lot more
3
money.
tops.
But not
They would
everybody
make a
can
lot
be
more
Sean
money.
O'Malley.
Well, then guess what? That's on them, dude. That's on them. That's the
That's
beauty
on
of
them
America.
for
Work
having
harder.
brain damage, and I don't really want to talk
Work
to them
harder.
on live TikTok. They can't do the same thing as Sean O'Malley.
Figure it out, dude. Like that's the beauty of the UFC. Do
That's
more
not
lessons.
the beauty of it. That's the tough part of the UFC.
Not at all. Not at all.
You've been training for
So,
20 years,
you're telling
6
me
days a week,
Yeah.
4 hours a day.
Now you
To be good at-
Yeah.
now you got to run a
Yeah.
business
Yeah,
and
Go-
and,
yeah,
and
they all do
advertise
it.
yourself.
they
You
all
ever written
do
a
it.
paper about yourself?
Here's another.
I'm not making it about me. I'm talking
Here's
about the
another
fighters getting
part.
paid, bro.
Here's another part.
talking about the
Charles
fighters getting
Oliveira.
paid.
Charles Oliveira made $400K for his last fight. Main evented a pay-per-view. He's the champ.
Lives in a favela. He don't care.
400K.
He don't care.
That's a lot of money to him. It's a life-changing amount of money.
It would be a life-changing amount of money to anybody. It's really not that big of a life-changing
one
amount
fight,
because
like-
he has one of the most. He has one of the highest bonus numbers. He gets a lot of bonuses. Submission of the night shits a lot.
Yeah, it's just tough to explain to you when you don't get it, bro. It's,
What don't you think I
it's
get?
tough to explain.
All right.
Charles
Explain it to
Oliveira
me.
can make more money. He gets paid $500K for that fight. A lot of money. A lot of money. Then after that, he goes and trains. He can do more classes, get more money. He can make T-shirts. He can make money doing that. He can do a fuck ton more. A fuck ton. Whatever he wants to do.
I don't know.
He
I
can
don't know.
take that money and do it. That is the whole point. Invest in yourself.
Definitely.
That's what
Okay.
the UFC does.
So I want you to know that I get that. I swear to God, I get that. I swear to God, I
Okay.
get that.
Okay.
So when you say it's hard to explain when you don't get it, I swear to God, I get it.
Don't think you do.
All right, we can move on. We can talk about UFC 266 or 267 or something. We're actually almost at 9. Holy shit.
Yeah.
266. We were talking as one of the best undercards in a while. Has Robbie Lawler, Nate Diaz,
I think Robbie Lawler has that fight.
has Curtis Blades, Jairzinho Rosenstrike. You think you got Nick Diaz?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I totally have Robbie Lawler.
Robbie Lawler has been more consistent. He's actually fought.
Nick Diaz hasn't fought in like 5 years.
That's what I think.
Robbie Lawler fought this year.
This same
Why
age,
do you think?
right? Just because Nick Diaz is a bad dude. I think the Diaz bros are bad dudes.
Diaz.
Did you bet Nate?
I bet him because he was +4. He was plus a lot.
Yeah.
Nick Diaz, Robbie Lawler, 38 and Diaz, 39 Lawler. 2-inch reach advantage for Nick Diaz.
When was the last time Nick Diaz has fought?
I think it was 2016. 2015. He had a draw with Anderson Silva.
I remember that, yeah.
And then the last
That was the
time-
fight he was laying on the
And
ground
then-
doing that shit.
And then 2013, he fought George St. Pierre one time. So he's had,
2 fights
Decision.
in 8 years.
Decision with the greatest of all
and he
time.
lost to Conduit
So he hasn't had a
lost to
win
Con-
since
since
2011.
2011.
Oh, it stinks.
What is his win-loss record
No,
for
come on.
UFC?
Look at those last 2 fights, man. 2 of the greatest evers. Went 5 rounds.
All right,
Condit's not the
Condit's
greatest
not.
ever.
I'm
he's
saying
up there.
GSP and fucking Silva.
UFC 143.
GSP, I will give you. That was when GSP was in his fucking
13.
prime.
know that's so
I will
long
give
ago,
you that.
but, like,
2015 Anderson Silva was like 2 years after he broke his leg.
Dude, yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, I got Robbie Lawler. 100%.
100%.
Let's see. Robbie Lawler.
2-inch reach disadvantage though.
He lost to Neil Magny last year. He lost to Colby Covington and Ben Askren the year before.
But that Ben
he did not-
Askren
he did
Lost
not-
to
lose to Ben
Rafael
Askren.
Dos Anjos in 2017, and he beat Donald Cerrone. Lost to Tyron Woodley, beat Carlos Condit, beat Rory McDonald in one of the greatest fights in UFC history.
Dude, I think Robbie Lawler
And that was
might be top
2015. That
10.
was 2015.
See, like,
Johnny
this
Hendricks,
is one of the stats.
and he
that-
beat Matt Brown.
Yeah. Wow.
It's a tough fight because they're both at the back half of their career, and it's just a money fight.
Yeah.
But I
Hopefully
got
they're
Robbie
getting paid
Lawler.
enough.
I got Robbie Lawler.
Wants Kamaru
There's
Usman
no
to fight
way.
Nick Diaz. Wow. Ali Babsi, whatever that guy.
Ali Abdelaziz.
Yeah. Wants Kamaru Usman to fight Nick Diaz 9 hours ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, good luck, buddy.
Good luck.
Yeah. You have promo. Nick Diaz versus Robbie Lawler 2.
Right.
17 years in the making. That is insane. Nick Diaz won by knockout. UFC 47, April 2nd, 2004. The Red Sox just won the World Series. Or no, we're going
Couple
to
months
win the
ago.
World Series in a couple months. Times were good.
Yeah, we were 6. We were 6.
Yeah.
Red Sox. That's crazy. I just remember Jonathan Papelbon throwing that. Hit the first, hit right to him, and he threw it the first base. That was it. Like, boom.
All right.
Yeah.
So 266 also has Marlon Moraes versus Merab Wallace-Willie, Curtis Blades versus Jersey Rosenstrike, Jessica Andrade versus Cynthia Calvillo.
What do you got?
For what?
Blades,
Blades?
Rosenstrike.
Blades, for sure.
I got Blades.
Also has Luke Rockhold versus Sean Strickland.
That'll be cool.
And it has
Coleman,
Sabil
right?
Abdurakhimov versus Chris Daukaus, which is a top 10 heavyweight fight.
What was it?
Sabil Abdurakhimov versus Chris Daukaus.
Kyle Dawkins?
Yeah.
Kyle Dawkins.
I think Kyle Daukaus is the middleweight. I think Chris Daukaus is the heavyweight. It's Chris Daukaus.
Oh, okay. Is this his brother or
I don't know, honestly.
interesting? Anyway,
Anyway,
That is a stacked undercard, man.
Rockhold Strickland is a good fight.
That is a good fight.
Yeah.
right with Strickland. You're an idiot.
No. So hold on. I
I don't
am.
know.
Why?
No. I'm
Strickland's pretty
teetering
good.
towards Strickland right
When's the
now.
last time he's fought?
Luke Rockhold?
Yeah.
Probably been 4 years, 3 years, 3.5 years.
Can you look that up?
Because he's been too busy on The Bachelor.
We need a young Jamie, dude. That's what we need. We need a fight.
You ever seen him on The Bachelor?
Was he
fucking-
actually on The
Yes,
Bachelor?
he was on The Bachelor.
Wow, that's stupid.
He was a really awkward.
All right,
dude.
so he fought in July of 2019. He got knocked out by Jan Blachowicz.
Fucking demolished. Let's go.
And then he
Fucked up by
lost
Yoel?
to Yoel. Damn. All right, I think I got
And
Sean
Bisping.
Strickland.
Oh man, I don't know. I don't
Yeah, Chris
know.
Weidman, that's a win.
Luke Rockhold's only 36.
He lost to Michael Bisping. Michael Bisping and Sean Strickland used to be partners. They used
Mike-
to be sparring partners.
That was one of the biggest
And that's-
upsets in UFC history.
and that is when Sean Strickland was sparring with Michael Bisping. Was in 2016. I think I got Sean Strickland.
That fight was supposed to
I
be.
got Strickland. I'm going to run the pod.
That fight was supposed to be Rockhold versus Romero, but Romero got hurt, and Bisping came in 2 weeks' notice and knocked out Luke Rockhold. After 2 years prior, Bisping got knocked out by Rockhold.
I think that means something. On 2 weeks' notice, with that type of that means he has good training, good sparring. Went in there, knocked him out.
Yeah. I think he's very well rounded.
I'm gonna have to watch Sean Strickland fight more. I saw a couple clips of him. I don't know him that well.
Can I say something? I've watched his. I think he's been back 3 fights now.
Mm.
Watched every fight,
Mm.
every single fight.
And they've
Yeah,
gone to
all right.
decision. And he's won them all.
Yeah, and he has not gotten hit yet.
Can we talk about who
He hasn't gotten hit at all. At all.
Paul didn't really touch him. Right?
No.
I'm not impressed by a win over Uriah Hall. I'm sorry.
It's a little bit of power right there.
It's
bro.
definitely a dangerous guy, but I'm not too
Uriah Hall
impressed by it.
punched him a lot too. Sean
Christoph Jocko's all right. Brendan Allen to me is the most impressive win there.
I don't think you give enough credit to Uriah Hall. But
I
Brendan Allen
think you're
is
probably right.
no,
but at the
Brian-
same time, Uriah Hall's 37 now, and he's not what he used to be.
Brendan Allen is a good win because it's a wrestler,
Right.
and he's a striker, and
Right.
it proves that he can beat a wrestler,
Luke Rockhold
a
is-
well-rounded wrestler.
Luke
too.
Rockhold can
Strickland
wrestle.
has been in the UFC that long.
Yeah.
Holy titties.
Yeah, he was out for 2 years because he got into a motorcycle accident.
Right.
Yeah, I've actually watched all he's had 4 fights back. I've watched all 4 fights. And he also beat Jack Marshman. And I mean, it's a guy with not as a big reach, but a lot of power. He's beat him.
He's almost doubled his
Marshman?
opponent's strikes in
Marshman.
every fight.
Jack Marshman.
Marshman.
He's almost doubled his opponent's strikes in every fight.
Yeah. I mean, the Christoph Jocko one.
All right,
is kind
maybe
of a-
Sean Strickland will beat Luke Rockhold. But Luke Rockhold is a savage.
Wow, he's fought Kamaru Usman already.
Yeah.
Before he was champion.
He got absolutely demolished by Kamaru Usman.
And he had 2 takedowns.
I was talking about this before you guys got here. Do
Dana White is-
you want to know the takedown to being taken down ratio for Kamaru Usman in his UFC career?
It's 4-1.
Probably like 7-1.
6, 7, 8, 9.
Okay, well, let me first say this. Usman's never been taken down.
Oh, okay, I don't know then.
He has 49 takedowns.
Wow.
To 0 times taken down.
I think Kobe takes him down.
I don't.
I think Kobe tries to take him down.
I don't.
I would have loved to see him though take it.
I would
Try.
love to see that.
How many tries has he attempted?
How many how many takedown attempts has Usman?
Yeah, actually, I'm really only curious with Covington fight. Like, did he ever try and just couldn't?
No, there was no takedown attempts at all in the first fight.
Did he try? Dude, Kobe Covington versus Jorge, great fight. Jorge versus Leon Edwards, great fight. Needs to happen.
How much clinch work for them?
Yeah. I think we're gonna see him. We got to see more takedowns. I think Kamaru Usman's striking now compared to when he fought Kobe has improved so
I
much.
agree.
And I think he's gonna need to take him down, and he's gonna need to be in the clinch with him. Like he's gonna have to put him up against the fence and put all his weight on him.
I don't see a way that Kobe beats Usman. The only way
He's got a good chance.
the only way
He's got the
Kobe
best
can beat him
chance.
is if Kobe comes in the best shape of his life and just hits and just punches Usman 170 times and doesn't get knocked out.
I don't see that happening when you got Trevor Whitman in your corner and you've been training with him
Well,
for the past
I
year and a half.
agree, but Kobe landed a lot of shots on Usman in their first fight. He really did. I think that Kobe had the best fight against Usman.
With
so
the
far.
broken jaw. With the broken jaw.
I think he had the best fight. I think Gilbert Burns was the closest to knocking him out, but I think Kobe had the best overall fight against Usman.
Still.
And I also think that Usman, I think Usman's the pound for pound greatest in the world right now. And I think he's still getting better. But I think that the fact that he's never been taken down is something that not only has he never been taken down, but no one's attempted a takedown in his last 4 fights. No one's even tried. What does that say about his wrestling? Kobe
Hasn't been
says
tested.
that he's a-
Hasn't been tested yet.
Is it that it has been tested, or is that
It-
people know how fucking great of a wrestler he is?
It hasn't been tested yet. Because like you gotta think like he does it in probably training all the time.
Right.
But the last fight, it's been a while. I think it needs to get tested in a fight. It's completely different.
And not only, he's so much stronger than everybody in that division, man.
Yeah,
Fucking jacked.
except for maybe
So you're
Kobe,
saying he's never been to the ground?
He's been to the ground. He has takedowns.
but he's never been on his
Like,
back.
maybe
I don't
Maybe it's more the
know if he's never
control.
been on his back.
once they go down, they realize I don't want to go down with them ever again.
That's what I'm saying. Right.
Yeah.
Right. And people just stop trying.
Oh, yeah.
And now once people stop trying, he goes to the best striking coach in the world.
So it needs to be tested, bro. I'm telling you. If he's only been training striking, he needs to get taken down to the ground.
And here's why I think you're right. Who is Kamaru Usman is Trevor Whitman's greatest pupil right now? Who's his second?
Couldn't name him. I
Justin,
really don't
Justin
know.
Gaethje.
Okay.
What
It's
did we
like
just see
Rose.
with Gaethje?
Rose?
What did we just say with Gaethje?
Rose is a
I
champ.
would. Okay, you can say Rose is number 2.
So champ.
Okay, so Gaethje's 3. What did we just see with Gaethje? Oh, you know what? He is a good wrestler. He might be able to stand up to Khabib, and he's a way better striker. And then he just got floored by a great wrestler. So,
It's a great point.
but then again, Colby is a good wrestler, but he's a great wrestler because he has amazing cardio and he knows what he's doing wrestling. That's what he did against Tyron Woodley. By the second round, he had 12 takedowns and Woodley was gassed and he just kept going, kept fucking going, kept going, kept going,
I
kept
think
going.
he has better cardio. It's tough. It's tough to say someone's better than the champ at
Right.
something, but he might have better cardio than Kamaru Usman. And I'm only saying that because Kamaru Usman's last fights have been so quick.
Right.
You know, except for the Jorge fight, and honestly,
The Jorge fight was kind of
Jorge. No, the first one.
Okay.
That Jorge fight, that one was like Jorge kind of kept up with them,
Yeah.
which I was surprised. You know, off a 10-day notice, and he had to cut weight.
Usman
He
kind of
struggled
just
to cut
point
weight.
victoried Masvidal, though. He just kind of pointed him. He was like, let me clinch you for 4 rounds and strike you when I can.
Did the same thing to Woodley. Just clinched him, broke him down with that fucking body shot.
Yeah,
That's why
he's really good in the clinch. I think that's another good.
he's just so strong, man.
It's
If he gets a hold of you, and he talks about it in his
CEO.
podcast with Joe Rogan, his gable grip, he said he's been training it for 22 years, and he's 36 years old. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if he gets a hold of you, he's not letting go. Good luck. Good fucking luck. And if as soon as you try to break up, there's an uppercut, and you're on the ground. Or a straight. We were talking about, I said this last week, but I got to say it again. We were talking about how Kamaru Usman probably has the best jab in the UFC.
Yeah,
And now he might have the best straight. We've seen him knock out his last 2 fighters with a straight right. That's all it was, straight right.
let's not forget about Kevin Holland too. Guy had 6 wins last year. He's been
6
silent.
wins.
He's been very silent this year.
6 wins.
Wait, is he welter?
Middle.
No, he's middle.
6 wins, but only 2 of them were against notable people.
I think him and Kamaev need to fight.
Kevin Holland and Kamaev. Yeah,
Did they lose?
That's a money fight. I think.
That's a fucking main event. That's a fucking main event, dude. I'd watch the shit out of that fight.
What?
I think.
Kamaev versus Kevin
I
Holland.
think Holland
Yeah,
wins.
watch that.
I think Holland wins.
I'm never betting against that dude again.
Bro, Holland did some shit
I can't.
in cage.
Who did Holland lose to?
He's been doing. He's
Vittori.
all he's been
Who
training.
did he lose
is
to
ground work.
before Vittori? Was it Hermanson?
Who?
No, I don't think
Holland.
I don't think there was anybody.
Kevin Holland.
It was.
Lost.
He had 2 short notice
No.
fights in a row that he lost.
He lost to
Vittori.
No,
Probably
it wasn't.
wrestlers,
It wasn't
you know,
Vittori.
big
No, he did
wrestlers.
lose to Vittori.
Did he?
That was his last fight. Because that was supposed to be Darren Till. Darren Till got hurt
Brunson.
and Holland came in. Brunson, that's what it was.
A weird
Yeah,
fight.
Yeah.
Oh, Brunson
Fucked him up.
absolutely fucked him
Veteran.
up.
He knew what to do.
You're right. He sunned him. That's exactly what he did. And Derek Brunson, Darren Till, is supposed to be postponed until the UFC 267. But it's not been confirmed yet. Because that fight's already been pushed back twice. And I really want to see that fight. I want to see Darren Till's got to do something, man.
Yeah.
Darren Till's has to do something.
Soon.
Yeah, well, he's fighting soon now. He is. That fight's been scheduled with Brunson. He's going to fight in October. Darren Till versus Brunson in October, right?
And I hope it comes true, but this will be the 3rd time that he has a confirmed fight.
And he's backed out of. Yeah, he's got some. He's like, I'm not scared to fight anybody. Not scared. And then next fight, he's like, I was scared. I was scared. It was like,
No,
which is
his last
respect.
fight was
Which is
Whittaker.
respect to say. Like, not
Wasn't
a lot of
his last fight getting knocked out by Masvidal?
No, not his
Wasn't that
last fight.
last.
The
Oh no, it was
Whittaker.
Whitaker. It was Whitaker.
I'd be scared going to Whittaker. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
no, it
but
wasn't
he,
Whittaker. It was the fight before.
yeah, but he bitched about Whitaker. He was like, they shouldn't. Knee stomps should be illegal now. We can't do knee stomps.
What's the niece? What do you mean?
This guy's talking
Like a
about
teep
headbutts.
kick right to the knee.
Why do you think headbutts should be in the UFC?
Headbutts should be illegal. I firmly
It
believe that.
should be illegal.
Anything
Why? Because it's fucked up.
Yeah.
That's how people you see like when fighters like accidentally headbutt and then they cut open their fucking forehead. Fucking crazy, dude. That's an extreme amount of force. So you got to think like
All right.
So
Topless ring girls.
okay, Anyway,
All right. Anyway.
so
Anyway.
the point I wanted to make, and we could probably end this because we're almost at 9:30 anyway. Unless we want to keep going, we can. The thing that I wanted to bring up about rule changes is eye pokes. We saw it in the Cyril Gane Derek Lewis fight. It was getting kind of annoyingly like, what are you doing? I think that there should be a rule that if somebody faints being poked in the eye, like they got jabbed, and I understand that it's hard to do because if you get hit in the eye,
Right, Gone jabbed him, and he was like, "Oh, that was an eye poke,"
it was a
and they
punch.
stopped. Yeah,
and I get that it's hard to say because at the same time, when you get rocked, you might just not be there and you might say something. But if you claim to get poked in the eye,
Yeah, and
it could be a ref's decision, you could do it twice in 2 rounds or something like that. I would like to see a point deduction.
But what if he got punched in the eye and he thought he got poked?
And that's why I say it's a ref's discretion.
But what if he like? Yeah, I don't know. That's tough.
Because you don't know what it is until you fucking stop the fight. And
Right.
review.
Right. But a ref
And you gotta
should
stop the
a
fight.
ref should
Let it
have an
go to the-
inclination about it.
You just let it go to the fucking bell. End of the round.
And I don't only mean eye pokes, I mean groin strikes too. Case in point, Colby Covington, Kamaru Usman won. Colby kicked Usman in the top of his thigh.
Bro, I gotta
Replays all over the place, top of the thigh. And Kamaru Usman waited a minute because he said that Colby hit him in the junk.
No. Fucking Covington jabbed him in the left eye, and the doctors are checking out Usman's right eye. He's complaining about his right eye. You can clearly see how it goes, jabs him right here, and then he stops. Doctor comes over, switches eyes, and it's like, what even was that?
Shit like that, if caught by the ref, point deduction. I'm fine with that. I really am. And it's tough. It's a tough thing. You got to work on the rule. And that's something that a ref or all the refs would have to train for a year. They would have to really get that in their repertoire.
Yeah.
But it's going to save a lot of disputes for fighters. And you never know what judges think about that shit.
Yeah,
Anyway.
I got something to talk about.
Dick kick, doctor. They just pull up a curtain. Doctor pulls down the pants and just looks. And he's like, all right. And then
I don't think that's something a doctor can really inspect like that.
What do you mean?
Well, if there's any serious damage, like if you
Swelling?
get kicked in
Is
the
it usually that big?
if you get kicked in the nuts and you now have blood trickling down your leg, that's one thing. But it's kind of just on the person that got kicked in the dick, don't you think? He's like, no, I can't, or yeah, I'm fine.
All right. Let's talk about this. I know this is stupid, but
I got something too.
you kick a dude in the cup,
It hurts.
your foot.
Break a toe.
No, dude, it still hurt. If you get kicked, I know in
I mean,
baseball.
I'm taking a fucking baseball to
Yeah, if you get a baseball and you're wearing a cup, it still fucking hurts, dude.
Mhm.
Like it
No, it
don't
does.
matter.
because of the way it's shaped.
Yeah,
Kinda
it's
stupid shape.
fucking hurts. So I mean, maybe they should wear cups. Well,
They do wear cups.
They do wear
Yeah.
cups. Yeah, yeah. I don't know where I was going with that.
I don't know. Do cups really have it? Have you ever bought a cup that actually really cups your balls? Like,
They're called Nutty Buddies.
what?
You ever heard of a
You
Nutty
were
Buddy?
a catcher, so
You ever heard of a Nutty
Worn
Buddy?
cups as well.
yeah, but
One that really actually, like, if you got hit in the fucking nuts. Like, I was a catcher, so like
I
every
can't
now and then
recall.
a
I've
ball
got-
would
yeah.
go down and it would catch me. I'd be like,
No, I did too. 100%.
so it's
I can't
like, what do
recall.
those cups do? Maybe they should stop worrying about gloves.
Well, they
It's like-
definitely do something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I would rather take a front kick to the nuts with a cup than without a cup. 100%.
I'm not arguing against cups. Just
What are you
saying-
arguing then?
I'm saying that groin kick should be legal. Let it go.
Yeah.
You think
Let
so?
it go.
You're
Guard your
fucked up.
nuts, bro.
Listen, if groin kicks are legal, I'm just telling you right now, pay-per-views are going to be done at 10:30. Just telling you right now, you're going to see a lot of first-round finishes.
Imagine that, just like
Do you
a
think?
complete pivot by the UFC. They don't show MMA
Groin
anymore.
strikes legalized. Give him the dick twist. So it actually does.
Do you think fighters shouldn't get paid if they miss weight?
Oh,
If
I
they
was gonna
still
say that.
fight, I think they should get paid, but I wouldn't be against having even more of a cut go to the other fighter.
Yeah.
because right now it's 25%. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Now,
If
would
you miss
do
the
it-
weight, 25% of your purse goes to the other person, whether you win or lose.
yeah, I think it should be 50 or something, or
I
like,
wouldn't be mad with that.
or 80-20, even something crazy.
Listen,
to make sure people make
Right.
weight.
The more you increase it, the less people are gonna
Yeah.
miss weight.
Yeah.
Did you see
I think
the?
it's kind of bullshit that people miss
Did
weight.
you see? I can't remember her name, but there was a women's
No reason for it.
strawweight fighter, a women's strawweight fighter who missed weight like her last 3 fights, and she got cut by the UFC. And someone tweeted like, "Oh, that's the first cut she actually made," or some shit like that.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
It was the girl just beat. She came in heavy versus that Russian chick or something. I don't know. A couple weeks ago, she ended up losing. Now, like that, she came in 5 pounds overweight and she lost. She won the fight.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know if that win should count.
Well, here's
I think that's
another
kinda
thing.
bullshit.
If you come in overweight, if we're fighting and you come in overweight, I can now say no, I'm not gonna fight
I
you.
don't think I'd come in overweight against you.
You know what I'm saying though?
Yeah, I know.
So I can be like, no, I'm not gonna fight you.
Yeah.
That's not the
Yeah,
part.
then she don't get paid.
Right.
That's fucked.
Absolutely a part of it.
That's fucked.
I wouldn't be. I think that them increasing the cut, the percentage of the purse that gets taken out of the person who comes in overweight. I would not be against that at all.
Yeah, I think it should be more than 50% because I think that gives more of an inclination for them to make it. It's a lot.
But here's the
I mean,
thing:
if they're only making
if
12
it's now,
grand,
if it's now above 50%, then all right. Say you come in 0.3 pounds overweight. Like it's really like you fucking tried and you just fucked up. So you come in 0.3 pounds overweight. some shit
listen,
like
man,
that.
you knew, you took that fight at that weight. You gotta make it.
I understand.
And even if it is 0.3, like it is what it is.
I understand
It
that.
is
The
what
point
it
I
is.
was going to make is say you come in like 0.3 pounds overweight.
Sorry.
And now you're losing. Say you're making 12 grand. Say now you're making 6 grand to go in a fight. You're not going to go out there and fight as hard. You're not.
That's on you though.
I realize that, but that's just going to put a damper on things. So I think
That's not gonna put a damper on thing. You knew you were supposed to fight at 145. You knew 3 months in advance, or even if they were a year, they've been fighting it. What if they've been fighting in the division for years and then they start missing weight? Like Charles Oliveira. Charles
So if
Oliveira
you
was a
know
featherweight
this, what
and
if
he
you
couldn't
don't?
make weight, and now he's in lightweight.
So if you get a 10-day notice and you miss weight, you're still giving up 50% of your fucking purse. You didn't know about it.
I mean, you accepted the fight. You
What, are you
accepted.
gonna
You accepted
decline?
to do it. You accepted.
Jorge Masvidal is going to decline that fight against the champion.
He didn't.
he made the weight though.
Yeah.
All right, I'm just saying. What if he didn't?
I guess we'll never know.
I guess.
Well.
If he didn't make the weight, then I mean,
I think
it's a
50
pretty damn good reason now to not make
you know,
weight on 10-day notice.
If you get that late notice and you decide to take the fight and you miss that weight,
Yeah,
then
but
it just matters how much.
what if they came up to you and like, listen, you have a fight in 10 days and you have to make weight. Can you make weight and take this fight? And he was like, yes. Boom. Well, he has to make weight. I think that's it.
I do
really
too.
do. I
No,
really
I
do.
do
It's,
too.
I mean, it's a
Yeah.
very fine line between yes and no,
Yes.
but it's like a written contract. You break that contract, you go take the court, whatever. Oh, yeah, that's what I mean. You accepted the fight. You know the circumstances. It's not like the weights change. The weight
I think
divisions,
in
the
that
weights change.
scenario, just I like that 50%. Cut it much more. I like that.
Yeah, I
think
think
so.
50% is a good number.
But in that scenario, 25. Go back to the 25. It's like the dude tried. Can't say he didn't try, motherfucker. Like if he's sitting there in the
Not
sauna,
everybody gets a trophy for trying, but
Oh,
you know
bro,
what I mean?
come
Fucking-
dude sitting in the sauna, and you're gonna
Mike
say
Furtado needs to be here right now and be like, "There's no trophies for trying."
he goes over, bro.
I'm
Pound and a half.
telling you, there's no trophies for trying.
How about I'm trying to think of the exact number, but like what if there is a percentage based on the amount of weight you go over?
No, that's what I would love that. Like if you're a pound, 2 pounds, 3, 4, 5.
You can't even do that because most people that miss weight, they miss it by half a pound. So like every 0.5 of a pound is 10%. Something like that.
That girl a couple weeks ago missed it by 4.5.
Right.
Yeah.
And who missed it? Didn't some guy miss it by like 9 pounds? Remember
Yeah.
that? Remember
No,
that?
someone missed it by 13 in
13?
a featherweight one time. Like he wouldn't have made lightweight and he was in a featherweight fight.
Yeah.
And they canceled it. Or the guy that he was fighting was like, no, fuck you. I'm not fighting you.
That's crazy, man. That's crazy.
All right.
That's
That's
about does it.
Yeah, that's gonna do it. 59 in the books, episode 60 next week.
10 more to go.
We didn't even talk about what's coming up. We didn't even talk about what's coming up next. Yeah, what do you mean 10 more? 10 more to 70?
59.
Oh, yeah. All right, so there is no fights this week, but next week is Jared Cannonier versus Kelvin Gastelum.
It's a great fight.
Clay Guida, Mark Madsen.
Who do you got?
Brandon Royval, Alexander Pantoja. That's a good fight.
No, I think I got Gastelum. I really do. I like Gastelum. I don't want.
The week after that is Giga Chikadze versus Edson Barboza.
Got Gigi. Chikadze.
GG.
Whatever.
GG. I think I have Chikadze too. I think Chikadze is going to be a force in that fucking division.
You know, we did choose Barbosa to win that fight, and he was the underdog last time. So
Yeah, Burgos.
I was proud about that.
Yep, Burgos.
Yeah,
Yep.
fuck Shane Burgos. Fuck you, buddy.
Was he winning that fight going in? When he got cracked, Burgos.
Burgos might have been winning the fight before he got cracked, but it was a very
That
close
was a
fight.
weird knockout. Remember that?
Yeah, he got rocked and then he waited 4 seconds and then he fucking shut off.
Like he couldn't.
And then he
like,
shut off.
Yeah.
All right, that's it. UFC MMA Complete episode 59 in the books. Thank everybody for tuning in. Make sure you tune in next week for our regular Thursday night podcast, 8 p.m. Go check out our Twitter at complete_MMA and go check out our YouTube page, MMA Complete Podcast. Show love to Naked Sports and Fans Only Sports. We've been putting out a lot of articles. They've been doing good. Thank everybody for tuning in.
We're gonna be putting some polls out, like like Brock Lesnar versus John Jones, who's gonna win?
Right.
Like weird polls.
So
like,
go follow us at complete_MMA. It's a good follow. It's the best MMA Twitter out right now.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We're out of here. Check us out next week. And make sure you
Quick shout out.
make sure you go bet. Make sure you go bet and let us know what you're
Mark.
betting on.
Shout out Mark Tosin.
Shout out Tosi and the Belanger Bros. Tosi guaranteed he will be here next week.
Guaranteed.
See you then.
Well, guess what? I'll see it when I believe it.
Later.
Later.